What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Boxing Hour podcast, hosted by yours truly, Lamar West, here to give you the insights on all things boxing. So, tomorrow, January 31st, it's going to be a big night in boxing. We have Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo, and we have Keyshawn Davis versus Jamaine Ortiz. Right now, we'll be getting to the Keyshawn Davis versus Jamaine Ortiz fight, give you my early prediction today, and then tomorrow or Sunday, I'll give you guys a recap. So, early prediction, man. This is going to be a great fight. I think that this is going to be a highly entertaining fight. I think that my early prediction right now, my early gut feeling is that Keyshawn should and probably will win, and I have him winning by potential stoppage. And I know that's a bold prediction, but I really do think that Keyshawn could pull it off. Some things that for on Keyshawn's side, you have he's coming off of some disadvantages. I'll get in disadvantages first. Disadvantages. He's coming off of a long layoff. Obviously, he had his situation in Norfolk where he missed weight, and then it was alleged that he was out here drinking all the time. Then he got to fighting backstage. So he's coming back with a vengeance, and I feel like he's coming back with something to prove. And that can be great, but that can also sometimes just cause a lot of anxiety and a lot of buildup that maybe not be necessary, right? And coming off a long layoff, you never know where his mental is at, right? So you have that as a disadvantage. Then you have another disadvantage that he switched coaches. He was with Coach Bomack in that camp out in Omaha with Terrence Crawford. Now he's back to his original camp, which isn't bad, but a camp or coaching change right before a fight, you never know what that can look like, right? And then just in regards to his opponents, some things that Jamaine Ortiz can do that will cause some issues potentially for Keyshawn Davis is Keyshawn Davis hasn't really faced too many guys who are as athletic or who pick up their feet and move as much as Jamaine Ortiz. So Keyshawn's recent wins versus Berinchik, where he knocked him out, and Limos and these guys like that, they were impressive wins, but all of these guys fought him in the same style, which is they came forward. And it allowed Keyshawn to be a sharp shooter, precise sniper with his accurate counterpunching. And Keyshawn has a lot of pop in his power, a lot of power in his pop. Sorry about that. But Keyshawn Davis, we've seen him knock guys out in the first round like Limos. We've seen him knock out guys like Berinchik for the title, right? So he has a lot of power in his punches. He has some pop on those punches, and I think that can be dangerous for Jamaine. But sticking with Keyshawn, so changes in the camp, coming off a long layoff, fighting a guy in Jamaine Ortiz who can, he's a switcher, the southpaw and orthodox. He moves his feet a lot. He's very athletic. He knows how to cut off distance. He knows how to get out of the way of punches, right? He does pick up his feet. And this is Keyshawn's first fight at 140, where Ortiz has had a few fights at 140 now, right? So these things can all cause potential issues for Keyshawn Davis if he is not locked in and not focused, right? And I think that because Jamaine Ortiz is so versatile with his styles of boxing, right? When he fought Tio, he fought off his back foot and fought as a boxer, versus when he fought Lomachenko, he came forward and stayed in the pocket all night and really let his hands go. And you don't really know what version of Jamaine that you'll get. So I think that is what could potentially cause some issues for Keyshawn, because we haven't seen him fight guys who come forward. Who fight off the back foot, who are athletic boxers. So this is a complete different style for Keyshawn, right? So we'll see. Only time will tell. Tomorrow night we'll see how he handles those issues. But some things in his favor is that he is a sharp shooter. He's a sharp counterpuncher. So if Ortiz chooses to fight coming forward or try to stand in the pocket, I think that'll be very dangerous for Jamaine Ortiz. I think that Keyshawn has the power to hurt Jamaine Ortiz, and we've seen Jamaine Ortiz hurt before. We've seen Jamaine Ortiz get hurt versus Tio, get hurt versus Lomachenko. We've seen him go down actually in fights. He's been knocked down, never knocked out, but we've seen him knocked down. And he's also a guy who he gets cut up and bruised easily, right? He gets swelling easily, he gets cuts, he bleeds easily, and these things can go in favor of Keyshawn. Once he sees that blood, he sees that swelling, it'll make him attack more, and also that can help sway the judges, right? So I think that Keyshawn's power and his accurate sharp shooting punches can help him a lot in this fight, because Jamaine Ortiz does pick up his feet and move a lot, but he also still does get hit. He does get hit. His way of defense is not slipping punches and X, Y, and Z. His way of defense is just moving around the ring. But if Keyshawn can figure out a way to cut off the distance and really get to him, I think that'll be an advantage for Keyshawn. I think another advantage for Keyshawn is that Jamaine Ortiz hasn't really found a way to separate himself as a clear, definitive winner in his fights. When he fought Lomachenko, he fought Tio, he came close, and he has a draw as well. He came close in these fights, but he didn't do enough to separate himself as a clear and definitive winner. Whereas we see Keyshawn does have that dog in him. He snaps, he goes in, when he smells blood, he goes for the kill, like with Barincic or with Limos, right? So Keyshawn has that killer instinct in him that I think can be an advantage for him in this fight. So I think him being the A side helps him having that killer instinct, and him being a sharpshooter, counterpuncher, all with power and knockout power. All of these things should work out in the favor of Keyshawn Davis, which is why I'm leaning towards Keyshawn Davis. Now, advantages and disadvantages for Jamaine Ortiz. Disadvantages. Oh man. Again, the biggest disadvantage for Jamaine Ortiz is that he doesn't do enough to separate himself as a clear winner offensively. He does good in terms of moving around and boxing, but he doesn't throw enough punches or land enough significant punches to really clearly win the rounds or clearly win the fights, which I think can be an issue for him, right? And I think that how that can handicap him with Keyshawn Davis is that Jamaine's best bet is to move around the ring, box, don't engage too much. But if he chooses to engage and let his hands go, that will leave him susceptible to getting hit back. And I think that is where he'll be in danger. So I think he has to fight on his back foot. But if he chooses to try to engage, I think that is where he can get caught slipping, get hit, get knocked down, or get knocked out, right? So I think that Jamaine is good, but he has shown that he can get touched. He has shown that he can go down, right? So that's a disadvantage when you're facing a power puncher like Keyshawn Davis. I think another disadvantage is that he is the B side. So when you're fighting as a B side, you do have, truth of the matter is that subjective human nature comes in, and you have to do more than enough. You have to go above and beyond to show that you are clearly winning the rounds, right? And that's something that he hasn't been able to do so far. As well as fighting a guy in Keyshawn who is a high-profile fighter. This is a big moment. He's fought big moments like with Tio and Lomachenko, but going in there with a guy that's hungry, Keyshawn got that mean spirit about him, like fighting a guy like that, because Lomachenko was not a power puncher. Teofimo isn't really a knockout power puncher, right? But Keyshawn Davis is. So we'll have to see how Jamaine can handle that power, right? But in terms of advantages, he does have advantages. I think him being a kind of a bigger guy than Keyshawn has faced in the past is an advantage. Him being have fought at 140 before is an advantage. Him being a pure boxer who can fight off his back foot, that's an advantage if he fights that way. But we don't know how he'll fight. We see different versions of him, right? So I think that Jamaine Ortiz definitely has some advantages, but I wouldn't be surprised. Don't get me wrong. I'm picking Keyshawn Davis to win this fight. But I would not be surprised if we see the underdog, Jamaine Ortiz, pull it off. I think that if this goes the full distance of 12 rounds, there is a good chance. If it goes 12 rounds, I'd call it a 50-50 fight that Jamaine Ortiz could possibly win on the scorecards. But I'm predicting that it's going to be an early stoppage, maybe around the 6th or 7th round. I have Keyshawn Davis knocking him out. But who knows? We'll see. I think this is going to be a great fight. I think this will be just as exciting as the main event with Shakur and Tio. And I think that this is two guys who have a lot on the line. Jamaine Ortiz so far is a veteran and a journeyman who, he's had his chances, his shots, and he's came up a little short. And he knows, I can't keep coming up short. He has to go out there and give his all to try to win this fight. And I think that will kick in. And Keyshawn is coming back off a layoff and off a dark time and a bad moment to where he feels like I have a lot to prove. And this will be his best win. So, of course, he wants to do great, right? So I think that this is going to be a fight that it's not going to be a wash either way. Even if Keyshawn knocks him out in the 7th round, it's not going to be that Keyshawn won rounds 1 through 7. I think that this is going to be a close fight. Each round will be close. I think that both fighters will win rounds and some will lose rounds, but I don't think this will be a wash in either guy's favor. I think this is going to be a good fight. I think that punches will be thrown. I do predict an early stoppage, and I think overall it's just going to be a close fight. So right now I'm leaning with Keyshawn, but I don't know, because I have this thing where I have to see the fighters walk out and how they look when they walk out of the ring, right? Or walk out to the ring. So we'll see how these guys look tomorrow night. But right now I'm going with Keyshawn. That's my prediction right now. And I'll be back Sunday morning or maybe Saturday night to give you guys the recap of what actually happens. But I'll see you guys then.